today, as planned, I'm diving to finish this piece. The dice have decided to color this, to finish coloring this piece. This is a fairy I designed for the monthly event of Fairy Airy, which is like Fairy February, and this fairy is for the day 12 of Fairy Airy in 2018, and it's a Thunder Fairy, and it's quite interesting that the dice chose the piece that was initially a February piece, and also according to my notes is it's a prompt for the 12th day of February, so not that much off. The prompt for 11th February here is a snow fairy, and this one is finished, and it has been already posted since then. And yeah, and today I will be doing this gal, which pretty much requires to fill in the background, because the background is very as you see, it's just very gray and bland and unfinished. So I have prepared my watercolors here, I have my brushes, I have some water, I have a dropper tool right now finally, and now I need to find some reference for a stormy, for stormy cloudy sky that is preferably lit up with some lightnings, yes, lightnings and thunderbolts and everything. So let me check if I have anything that would be fitting to that in my resources. My god, I have lots of mid-2000s clothing and objects, and where is like where is one night sky? I want, no, well, not night sky, I want one thundery sky. Also, why is this piece here? This piece is not my reference folder is messed up, it seems. It has some references that shouldn't be in this folder. But okay, it seems I have none. I have 0 references for Thunder Sky. So let me go to Pixabay. Pixabay and type in Thunder. Oh, let me maybe go and show you my screen. Yes, Chrome. Yes. Oh yeah, it's good. I don't feel so exposed with my with my lots of with my lots of tabs open here, and it's fine. Okay, so of course it loads up in Polish, but I can write anything in English. And yeah, my suggested if my tabs don't expose me, my suggested search terms do, like thunder. Ooh, oh yeah, I am looking for something like this, because I wanted most of the fairies, well, especially the ones related to the that were relating to the, for example, this one is Rain Fairy, and also the Snow Fairy, have very dark background, and are usually kept in blues. Like this is the cloud fairy, this is the wind fairy, and yeah, they were kept in blues. So I wanted for this one to be more into purples. I just like the color purple, which is why I wear a blue sweater right now, but this is not the question. I really like the purple color, and I've seen in many photos, I know it's photo manipulation, that many photos of stormy sky, or like this one, you see some indigos and hues of like violet, like here or here. I see some violets here, some maybe pinks there. Oh my god, do I have this? No, I don't have the because at my work I have the Chrome extension that picks the color from the screen, and I need this for my work. But yeah, I am looking for something you know, in these, let me open it, these in new tabs, something like this, dark purplish, violetish, indigo-ish sky that is just torn with the lightning. So this is what I want. I know that thunder and lightning are not the same thing, but in the most violent storms, if you are in the center, in the eye of the storm, they go hand in hand. I know that, but for the sake of this picture, to make it more powerful and to show this contrast of very dark elements like her skin, her dress, the background, to just contrast it with her hair, with the markings on her body, with elements of her clothing, and also with the stark white lightning. So this is the plan. This is the plan. So let me go back. Here I have my, let me put a little bit more of water in my purple and in my grays. Yes, I have, let's put a little bit more in my Payne's gray, a little bit more in my regular gray, and reactivate the white, and also bring out my white gouache for accents, and in case I mess anything up, which is very often occurrence. And also so let's start. I don't know if I want to start with the dark or with the white. I need to think about the composition, because I want her pose. So maybe to bring the, I was watching Sam's video on composition and hair, and I really want to try keep composition more in mind than usual. So her hair swoop here and here, and are the whitest, more contrasting elements of this picture. So her hair, her eyes, going down to elements on her the halters, yes, some white accents on the wings, going down with the markings on her hands, a little bit swooping in with belt, Also, it was a stylistic and also a conscious decision of mine to have her this gem on her belt, and her eyes have the same color and like and catch lights. So this is like repetition of elements that aids, well, in my mind it was supposed to aid decomposition. So now I want to, maybe I will go with white lightning here in the middle. But now I need something that would swoop the viewer's eye back in. So let me think about it. It would help if it would be also something white here, so maybe the shape of the thunder, of the lightning, I'm sorry, the shape of the lightning would be like, lightnings don't have regular shapes, they just go wherever the oh my god, in fact lightnings are the particles of negative charged ions, because when there are, during storms, there is a huge change of the electricity balance. You know, with electricity you have positive charge and negative charge, and during storms, before the storms, the negative charge is up in the clouds, and usually you can sense the smell of ozone and the smell of the storm shortly before and during the storm. And I think it also correlates to the fact that the air is filled with just charge. And oh my god, did I put the CC on? I just remembered, do I have the CC on? I think I did. But yeah, and during the storms and lightning specifically, the charges always want to reach the balance, you know, reach the neutrality. And with the positively charged earth and negatively charged sky, there is a need for charge to go from the top to the bottom. And this is why this sudden move of electrons that wants to connect occurs. And this is what we see as lightning. This is pretty much the electric charge that goes from the sky to the bottom to balance itself out. Milo, can you raise your hand before speaking during my lecture? You raise your hand first before asking for a bathroom. Milo, hey. So yeah, so I am thinking one or maybe two very thin, where they thin out the further they are, because no, at one moment of time, if you catch the lightning, the further it is from the source of the charge, the finer it is, because it moves, so there is always one bit where one part, when the charge is more accumulated than the other parts. So it would make sense that maybe these parts at the top would be thinned out, then somewhere behind her would be more thicker, only to thin out and thus enclosing her figure. Maybe that, but I think our, oh yeah, because this dictates wherever the bigger, wherever the thickest lightning there is, it dictates the light source. So yeah, with her hair and her with her hair being shaded here closer to her body, and also with her wings having some light rims, I think I can retrofit the lightning behind her to enclose her. Okay, so it would mean this part around her should be the lightest, because this is where the thickest lightnings will be, and anything else needs to be the darkest and hopefully will be cloud shaped. So yeah, so I am going in. Let me get my purple. A little bit, and let's start with some circular uneven, not regular brush strokes with some dabbing. Try to dab and move colors in. Just these strokes, and of course I have way too little water on my brush, and I will of course, since I am working in this sketchbook, I also work with not that great paper that proves itself to be also warping and sucking the moisture very fast. So I am pretty much only working with wet on dry technique whenever I am using the paper that is not made for wet media. So how was everybody's day? It's Fat Thursday today, or Mardi Gras, or however you want to call it, but it's today. I hope you had your fair share of donuts. or other sweets today. I put on the Twitter a throwback Thursday piece to the Fat Thursday piece I did on stream 2 years ago in 2019, which also fell like around mid February. So yeah, I posted this on Twitter. Can't believe it was already like so. It's been, the time like needs to slow down for the sake of my sanity. I hate that. I really don't like seeing the dates, and just because it reminds me constantly about the passage of time, and you can't reclaim the time you've lost, the time you've spent or lost of or wasted. I don't really want to. I really need to learn to not include this kind of vocabulary when speaking about passage of time, because when you say lost or time wasted, it kind of fills you with some sort of regret, and I really don't want feeling any more like regretful about my choices or my past. I really want to not be reminded about it at all, and yeah, so this is something I need to relearn, how to talk about time more positively. But yeah, 2 years ago, during this stream, I was actually painted with Skittles. There was a trend, and I think some people still try it to paint, but yeah, there was back then it certainly was a trend on art side of YouTube to try and paint and create art with food, like not the cuisine way, like arranging food the nice way, but the traditional way, like using the food as a source of pigment, and people figure out, hey, we can use Skittles because Skittles are pretty much just sugar that can be dissolved in water, and colorants that we've dissolved. Oh my god, I love Skittles. I haven't had Skittles in such a long time. But yeah, other than but yeah, and I also wanted to try drawing with Skittles, coloring a picture using Skittles, and I thought that, with every art trend that there is, I am thinking about tackling it a little bit differently, and for my own pleasure, I of course go and choose drawing pictures depicting my original characters, and doing more illustrative, more comic-like work in putting speech bubbles, words, lines, and this was this case But as a twist, I also figure out, well, people usually, when painting with, I noticed that people, when painting with Skittles, they use only the original Skittles colors. And I thought that I would use every Skittle color that there is, because here in Poland you get more than one kind of Skittles. Of course, you know, at least I had access to more than one kind of Skittles. So I had also the berry flavors and sour flavors, I believe, and the original pack. So I had 3 packs of Skittles, and this is good because I believe the berry flavor has blue, which original pack hasn't. And also I think berry flavor has pink, and the sour flavor has I think it had neon pink. So it makes the range of colors that I could use much wider, because I've seen people, you know, people who probably in other countries don't have the range of Skittles we have here, and they were not happy with the fact that there was no blue, because blue is a very prominent color to build up the shadows for some people, to desaturate some colors, especially if you have orange or orange in your Skittles, or you want to have non-neon green. You can use blue to mix in with yellow to form that green. I mixed the skin tone with Skittles. I mixed the brown color for the chocolate, and confectionery for the confectionaries for the piece, you know. And with blue it was easier. And of course, I made my characters were blue, because I drew the characters that have blue in their color choices among their garderobe, in their closet. Okay, I just took a deeper shade of By the way, is it just me? I mean, it is very interesting, and it forms as another way to bring your eye to the picture, but I think the color or the hue of the sky is kind of warmer than the hue of the dress, don't you think? I mean, it's a nice thing that they are contrasting, because there are many ways you can show a contrast. You can not only show the contrast in value by contrasting darker values, like here on her skin tone, or here what I will try to do with the background, with the with elements with the higher value, with value being on the spectrum, on the grayscale spectrum, from black to white. So you can contrast thicker and thinner lines to form the contrast and the illusion of depth. You can use brighter and darker values, and you can of course use contrasting hues, not only contrasting colors, like here on my palette. I have set my palette specifically, so I have semi-contrasting colors, semi-contrasting colors on the opposite sides of each other. So I have my purples here and my yellows here, which are the complementary colors. I have my Payne's gray and my red, which red is more complementary to green, but because my palette is a mess, it is what it is right now. But for example, the brown, this is sienna, so these are the shades of orange, and they are complementary to blue, which is on this side. So this helps you with contrast as well. And keeping this in mind, you can also contrast and make a set of colors from the same color family, but are on the different color temperature. You have yellows, you have golden yellows, which are warmer, and you have lemon yellows, which are more cooler, and you can contrast those to bring out the different feeling and to bring out the contrast. And I think that the fact that this now shows on her dress, which is more violet, especially here and here in these patches, with the sky, which has more red hues and is more like purple than violet. I thought this was interesting, and I wanted to talk about it. Okay, back to the art. I thought okay, since I thought it would take me not a long time, this artwork, because it's just the background I need to finish, I figured that I can go other fairies in this sketchbook and choose one I can start working on during the stream. I believe I have the chocolate fairy here, which would be very fitting for given the date. My god, I can't praise this brush enough. I bought it, like, I think I bought it already, like, it was like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's the best brush I've ever used. It was supposed to be used in for miniature paintings, you know, like miniature models and dioramas, like for Warhammer figurines or model kits. But I like this shape, and I was looking for a brush with this angled shape, so I snagged it. And since both acrylics and watercolors are the water soluble media, at least acrylic, at least when it's not dry, is water soluble. Who did this? Googly and X-Swagger, thank you for the follow. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? So, what I was talking about? Ah, yeah, the brush. And since acrylics and watercolors are the same, are water soluble, I am fine. I'm just chilling after work, painting, working on old piece of mine, because I rolled the dice and my dice decided that, hey Nina, you should work on this piece during Thursday stream. And I was like, okay. But yeah, I am looking forward finishing this piece and then diving back into working on my comic. I want to put up the update this week. Oh, thank you. Go on. If it's not safe work, if it's not safe, if it's safe for work, go on. And coming back to the topic of this brush, I figured that because when watercolors are dry, they can be reactivated and used again, even when they are dried on the paper. If the paper allows for the pickup of the pigment can be picked up with just a bit of water, of water to reactivate the binder that binds the pigment together. How you fall in love with arts, it's easy. I don't know, for me, what was for me? I think I first started drawing, well, of course you draw as a kid to be as an outlet and as a way to help develop your manual skills, and as a help to express yourself and kind of express your imagination and at the same time curb your imagination. So for me, of course it started with just, some scribbles, but I think for me the most driving force for just going into art, I would say it's for sure cartoons and television. I am a sucker for some Looney Tunes. Like Tom and Jerry and Popeye were my favorites when I was a child, and they still are. And I was drawing, right now it would be called just straight up fan arts. Milo! Hey! And I would just draw fan art, and then I had a crazy idea of making a huge most ambitious crossover any 5-year-old in the early 2000s would see. And I had Tom and Jerry X Looney Tunes crossovers when they all were living in one house and having some adventures. And this was my magnum opus, and I think it went from there. Well, of course there was time where I wasn't happy with my art. Of course there was, where I looked back at my pieces and I thought like, no, they are horrible, I don't want to look at them again. And I think people should just stop. I mean, art in itself has loads of it's a way of self-expression, and it has loads of like spectrums, medias, spectrums, and thank you, you too, and spectrum and mediums, and I think that along the way, I don't know if it's because of the outside influence, like maybe some art teacher told you that anime style is not a style and you should stop drawing anime or something, or anime is not real art. Well, for me it is, and fortunately it's not my situation, but I am talking about the hypothetical situation that I've seen people being faced with when expressing and showing hobbies. No, I'm not saying that you should be feeling happy when seeing my art. I say you should. I say that in general, you should not put yourself down by saying that, oh, I can't even pick up a pencil or something like that, because I think that something in your life, and probably someone just told you a mean thing about your art, just made you stop, or just, I don't know, I am theorizing right now, and maybe I should just shut up. I should shut up and draw right now. So I think I will go and take a black right now. Oh, thank you. If you're interested, I can show you my recent art, link you someone in chats link to all my social media accounts, and my comic sites. Right now I don't have the the Tom and Jerry X Looney Tunes comic anymore, but I have other with original characters, and it's still ongoing. So if you would be interested in that, just let me know and I will pop up a comment so you can check it. Right now I am using my black color here, which is the mix of blue and brown, to form this warmer shade of gray. I really appreciate that. I just hope that people would believe in themselves more and believe that it's really not too late that to come back to art or try different kinds of art, and it's really, age is not a difference, and age is in the different. And to be honest, I stopped drawing for a very long time. Like, even in elementary school I was only attending art classes, and I just lost interest in my storytelling and my comics and my anything and my current projects, and I only came back to it, like, was it 2015? So I was on and off drawing, of course, through all that time, but it had not it didn't have the size it has now. Okay, I will link you. So my socials are here, so you can get in here. On Twitter I posted the throwback Thursday picture from the last Thursday Mardi Gras piece I did, that I was talking about at the beginning of the stream. On my DeviantArt there is everything in the chronological order, even the, like, some older stuff. My YouTube is pretty much dead, but I think I had the painting with Skittles there as an upload as a stream re-upload from 2 years ago. My Tumblr is dead, but I want to revive it somehow, sometime. Let me see, because right now I don't see the Twitch dashboard, so to see it I need to go to Twitch, stop the broadcast that is just going, and I mean, it is right now. Oh my god, I need to make the profile picture bigger. But it is cute. It is very cute, I would say. It's a really nice pencil drawing. And you should not feel bad about it. Like, honestly. Comics time. I have 2 comics right now. One is the finished one. I finished it in March of last year. Oh my god, it would be a year since I have launched my new comic. And this is the second one. The second chance is, well, both are slice of life, and second chance is finished, but I'm working on a digital remake to make it more accessible for mobile, and may fix some mistakes and make the reading experience just overall better. And thus on Webtoons it has very few episodes, so it's finished entirely on DeviantArt and Tapas, working on the digital remake for Webtoons. And Never Too Late is currently ongoing, with the next update of page 30 coming this week. I am in the process of inking the background. Whenever I have free time. So yeah, these are my comics. Feel free to check if you like. Oh, bye. See you. See you around. Thank you for coming and thank you for following. And yeah, it's well, it's almost 9 p.m. here, so you should be um, somewhere on the east from me. Yeah, 2 time zones on the east. Judging from the two, it's no 3. It's 9 p.m. and it's also almost 12 a.m. Yeah, 3 time zones. I'm sorry. But hope you have a nice night. So right now I am working. I will layer the very dark warm tone gray. Dubai. Oh, is it warm in Dubai right now? Here it's -10 Celsius. And it snowed like 2 or 3 days ago, and it's snowy, and my dog refuses to walk and dress up in his sweater. So I think this part right below her legs should be the darkest, to keep the lightest parts in the as the anchor points to guide the eye of the viewer. I can give tips, and I can show you some tricks and in general, but you know, it's very, how to draw is a very, or how to art in general is a very broad subject, and I need to narrow it down. I think I have a saved stream where I did the full lesson on paneling comics and how to panel and plan your comic in a way it's easy to guide your reader's eye. And I think I also had the trick on drawing people of the same height and varying heights in perspective. But I need to well, it is very tricky, because the more I learn, there is like no recipe on how to draw. I can only tell and teach you things from my experience, but I am not a professional. I do not earn money from my work, and I don't feel in a position, like I'm in a position to teach you. I can tell you what I've noticed from my work, share tips, and answer any questions you have. Okay. I'm not holding you. Need to go to sleep. So yeah, I have 1 hour of stream left. So I will try to... I really want to finish at least the background here. This is the quota for this stream. So I am using I'm still trying to use the same brush strokes, dabbing the color, making the circular motions to give this piece a proper texture of just carving, curling masses of clouds. So this is what I want to do. Yeah, I think the lightning will go like that, curl around, and maybe disappear here to have this angling composition. I think this would be also a good contrast between the very symmetrical and straight stern figure of the character, and also the more angled, dynamic shape of the lightning. So I think I will leave the lightest color of the background like it is, and work on the darkest parts around the edges, around the feet and the top edges of the painting. So layer by layer, building up the black. Sometimes going over this beam of light to give some sort of irregularity, to make the clouds more cloudy, pretty much. Also, I think right now while darkening, I need to keep in mind that for the background and the character, this lighting that will go is the light source, meaning that everything that is slightly blocking this light source or being just directly between this light source and the viewer will be the darkest parts. So I am dabbing more black here where there would be one cloud formation that is blocking. The light from the lightning. That will do. I am layering this dark pigment very. I could go faster, but I don't want to, because I know that this paper doesn't allow me to pick up the pigment in case of any mistakes, in case of me going too dark. I know I have a different paper that even if the paint is dried, I can pick up the excess and lighten the color I laid with a smidge of water, some paper towel, something like that, using techniques like that. And I know this paper won't allow me to. So if I go way too dark, way too quick, or just put a dark blob that would just take away from the rest of the picture, because it will grab the more attention than whatever else, than anything else, I would have a problem, because I would either balance by putting more dark blobs, which I don't know what effect it will give, or I need to use white gouache and patch it up, which is like really like last bastion for fixing up mistakes with watercolor for me. So I am putting, even though I see my paper kind of dissolving, I want to take my time and lay, texturize, and work on this background layer by layer to not make an pretty much irreversible mistake at this point. But if you ever do a mistake like that in your traditional art and you can't reverse it on paper, what you can do is always fix it, as I call it, post-production. So if you scan or take a photo of your picture, you can open it in pretty much any no, paint doesn't do that. I mean, if you were, I don't recommend paint for that, but even GIMP would allow you. I used GIMP for editing my scans for a very long time, and I know GIMP as a photo manipulating, photo editing software is good enough for that, and it's free, so you can always use it. Okay, let me take the finer edge of the brush to go around and in between her calves and ankles, and around her feet. And now with the broader edge, with the broader let's try to make this edge the darkest. I am now taking paint directly, well, slightly diluted paint, watercolors with a little bit of water, so they will be able to stick on the brush for the maximum amount of pigment for the stroke. Make this the darkest. Why my music stopped? Oh my god, I reached the end of the I will make this edge and this top edge just a smidge darker, so the all brightest points will be within this area. What else? I think I will swap the brush for a more detailed brush I have and use the same color to slightly darken her legs, because I feel right now her legs should be darker, at least as dark as this area on her neck. So let me take a finer brush that I use for detailing, use more water and do the same, layer by layer, darken the legs. to take the focus of the picture off them. I need no legs. They're almost at the edge of the picture and they don't quite add to the composition. I fear that I am scared that with legs being lighter, visibly lighter than rest of the body, the viewer will just go here to the legs and just won't see anything else. And this would break all my plans with, you know, showing the arms, showing the details on the showing her eyes, showing her clothes, showing the background. It would just go straight to the legs and just off the page. And you want your viewer's eyes to be kept on this picture. Of course, this what I'm talking about right now, I'm talking about one singular illustration. When you need to grab your viewer's attention by contrast and guide eyes to tell a story or to show elements you find interesting, to show something interesting. While in comics, and I told it, I think I touched up on it during my paneling stream, that you use the similar principle, that you have key elements that you want your viewer to go through, and these key elements are like faces, important objects, important to the plot, important to the story, symbolism of the piece, whatever, and also speech bubbles and any like letter you need your viewer to see, register that, hey, this is something I need to see and read and understand, and in their mind connect what they've read, what they've understood they've read, the characters' expressions, the setting, everything to form a cohesive moment in a story that is understandable for your reader. It does depend on the audience, but principles are the same. Here I want the viewer to look at the eyes, the expression, the hair, the thunder, lightning like scars, the elements of her clothes that also resemble lightning, and go down to enclose and look only at the character, its expression, its pose, to feel the rough anger of this character, determination, and by that I want the viewer to look and see and study and register these elements. And with comics it's pretty much the same, but you guide your viewer across the whole page till the end, and on the last panel, the last bits of the page, here you don't, in comics, you don't make your well, it depends on the page. Of course, there are some, the main rule is that you want the viewer to go to the next page. So your composition is that, hey, there is something going off the page. There is either a full stop with the speech bubble. I like doing this. I like putting speech bubbles as the last element that a person needs to read before going to the page, or just showing it visually, like characters going off the page. So you naturally want to flip the page to see where they went off to, you know. Principles are the same. Of course, you can bend them. There are no, you know, no art police is gonna hunt you because you broke your composition. But people are, you know, and this is the thing that is both good and bad. People are used to some things and some elements, some shapes. They know. This is why people, when talking about character design, say about using shapes that are more round form, more bubbly, happy, cheerful characters, and shapes with more edges, triangular shapes for characters that are more, well, not only edgy but more unstable, more hard because of the sharp angles, squares and rectangles for characters that are stable and unchangeable. Like the feelings of some shapes are so engraved, like in culture, in culture period, that they invoke some specific feels and emotions. Of course, you can use a very bubbly character and just make it look stern and stable, and to say, ha, joke's on you, he's actually a softie, you know. You can do this because you know you bended this rule, called rule, you know. And the same is with composition. People are used to notice things that are off. I know it sounds bad when you think about it in terms of like society and whatnot. We always tend to see something that is not like the rest. In society and in current social climate, it is a mess. But in evolution-wise, well, it was good because it helped without, for example, not ripe fruit from not ripe fruit, because you saw the contrast in the color. This fruit is the only red fruit among these green fruits, so the red fruit therefore is different. And by knowing that the red fruit is better because it's red, you know, you weed out, you know, the good from the bad. But it don't what I'm saying is, humans, because of culture, because of growing up within a culture, because of seeing seeing the examples of the rules that were not broken, seeing the examples and principles of usage of shape, color. Well, why we associate black with evil, you know? Why we associate light with good? It all comes with culture and like in past times, and was just repeated throughout this time. So it just got engraved into human brain and perception. And there are patterns, there are tropes that people are noticing and other people are subverting, and it's up to one's taste. If you feel that that is something of value to you, if it's funny, if the subversion of this trope is funny, if this works for this story, if it works for you, if you understand that, it's all still a very somewhat biased matter of taste. There are things in art I don't particularly like. I don't particularly like some stylistic choices certain authors make, and I just don't look at their art if I don't like it. I know why I don't like it, and I don't bash the author. Never bash the author. Unless they are just a crappy human being. Right now, I am using the finer brush to dab in, to even further bring out the blacks, the black hues, and with dabbing, and by dabbing that, I am bringing back the texture that I noticed that got muddled and kind of disappeared. So I hope to bring it back. And after I do it, I think it would be time to get the finest brush, take out the gouache, and do the lightning in the background. So what this whole tirade and lecture of mine was about to say is that humans are trained because of culture and repetition of the themes and techniques and because human eye is trained by evolution and whatnot to notice the differences, we can pick up on accents, things that are odd compared to the rest. So in this artwork, the most odd thing compared to the rest are the white elements, because they are the most different thing value-wise, with lightness-wise, from the very dark background, and also it's very compact in space. If there was equal amount of black and white, you would say, like, you wouldn't be able to say what is the focal point you want your what is the focal point your eye needs to focus on. And when the white part is smaller compared to the black part, you notice it right away. And by using the knowledge that eye focuses on contrasting parts, you can use it to guide the eyes the way you want, to tell a story, to show things you want, to invoke emotions, to just trust your viewers that they will piece every accent you want to show to understand your picture. And it applies both to comics and illustrations, but with comics, you want the usually, I'm not saying all the times, comics are known to bend and be very experimental. I will mix some paint gray and purple in here to maybe form an even deeper shade, because I see my black is not black enough. So, in comics, you generally want to guide your viewer to the next page, to progress the plot, to go forward with the story. Usually, not all the time. There are cover pages that are working more like an illustrations, that are just that you want viewer to stop for a bit and to admire. There are panels that are just only made to show the huge scenery and to entice the viewer with the sheer space that, for example, the action takes place. It all depends on what you want to achieve. You want to show chaos. You can do this by putting lots of scattered accents in very seemingly or even not seemingly random places to invoke just the feeling of mess, confusion. If you want that, go on. I'm just talking about the general stuff I try to keep in mind while I am drawing my comics. That I want the plot to move forward, my viewers to understand my story, to grasp the emotions of characters, read what they have to say, and to convey something that way. All unless you want to, you don't want your viewer to be confused. Unless you want to. Maybe we want to confuse your viewer and to make them think even for a bit more what they are looking at. Oh my god, I need to I need to be more oh my god, sure. I need to be a little bit more cautious with my dabbing because I'm spraying the paint all over my fingers. But yeah, to be honest, I am, well, I have some knowledge when it comes to, you know, as you see, when it comes to art, drawing, painting, some techniques. The thing is, I don't believe that this is something people want to hear me talk about, and this is not something people want me to sit through. I don't consider myself well, minus this stream, because this stream, oh my god, I'm surprising myself with how long I talk. And usually I'm very quiet on my streams because I have not much to talk about. But if this would be something of interest to you, I can incorporate more of this talk about composition, about colors, about some basics and tips, about tips for drawing in my streams. And considering I have 600 work in progress pieces, I think that I can think of a topic that I can talk and touch upon, you know, drawing wise, art wise, you know, technicalities, all that stuff for each of them. If this would be something of interest, I would be happy if people would find it interesting and would come, you know. Okay, I think, yeah, I will let this clean this brush and let the picture dry. In the meantime, I have not washed it properly. shape this brush really. I need to use soap. I've seen that you can use soap and the circular motions like this to shape and maintain the sharp tip of your brushes if they fray out too much, as here after vigorous dabbing. But yeah, I need to take this brush after the stream to reshape it. And in the meantime, I will take water brush, because my water brush has finer tip. Unless, but I don't want to get up. I don't have finer brushes here in my box here. I have in my cupboard there. I need to be a little bit cautious because I don't want to water down the gouache. I want the white stark pigment, and this brush, first off, is a water brush, so it has water container that makes the water flow to the nib. And I know this brush is a little bit sensitive to my touch, and even if I touch the container even slightly, I am not yet used to control the water dispensing of this brush, and I don't want to water this down. And yeah, I need to get up for a moment, so I'll be right back. I need to take a different brush, a finer one, probably the finest of my bunch. Let me see. Okay, I will get the whole container with my brushes here to my desk. And I will just go through them. So let me see which one is the finest one. I think this one is good, which, to be honest, is not even a proper paintbrush. It's a nail art brush, but nail art brushes are first off cheap, second off their bristles are very durable because they usually work with acetone, some chemicals, you know, for manipulating nail polish and gel, which are only removable with acetone or nail polish remover, but most nail polish removers have acetone in them. And yeah, it makes them more durable. This is also why I like using this brush I talked about earlier, because it's used for acrylics, and the fact I use it for watercolors, which are easier to clean after they dry, so even if I forget about cleaning this brush, I can still clean it without using any chemicals, without scratching the barrel, scratching the fibers, the hair of the brush itself, which makes it more, which prolongs its longevity, its lifespan in my eyes. So I can use this nail art brush, which I know is fine because I've already painted with this one before. Oh my god, you poor soul here. I need to put you here. Which one is also nice? This one, 5.0 brush. This one is super thin. This is the thinner one. I have also the triple O brush. I will show the nibs up close. I have, this one is number 2 brush. This one is another nail art brush, but it's thicker one. I have also this, oh, this one is a nail art brush with slightly longer bristles, which might help. This one is, oh, another triple O. Don't fall, don't fall. Okay, so I see in the areas I need to put white gouache, these areas turned matte, so it means they are already dried. So this is good, because I don't want to dissolve, no, not to dissolve. To make the pigment less opaque with water, because gouache is basically like watercolors, especially the gouache I have here, because there is acrylic gouache and watercolor gouache. Acrylic gouache is works more like acrylics and is more opaque, and I don't even know if it's water soluble when dried, because I know watercolor gouache I have here also, I don't know why it says tempera, because tempera paints are closer to poster paints, and they are not. They are? I always thought they are not water reactivated. So I have the gouache here. It's the watercolor gouache. It's reactivated when dried, and it's opaque. So I can layer lighter colors on darker colors, and with some and usually in 2 coats they are fully opaque. So I find it best to fix any mistakes, like for example maybe I will touch up here on her hair where some of the background just got in due to my poor brush control. So yeah, let me pick up one of these brushes. These are, oh, let me take off the so yeah, now I will proceed to choose the proper brush. So these are my brushes. I chose the ones that are the finest and yet has the longest hair, so I will have more control and would be able to do finer strokes with them. And I think among them, this one and this one stood out to me as the best contestants. First off, they are barely used. They are very barely used. One is a nail art brush, and the second one is the triple O Corona RG 595 from USA brush. I don't know where I bought it. Probably it was in a set or something. But yeah, both are very thin, and I think both will be good with my needs. So I need to dip in just a tiny bit in the water, and I will take it directly from the tube. I need to dip even more in the water to make the bristles of the brush softer. Yeah. Oh, now I see if I put out the excess water by the edge of the cup, I see that the bristles came back to its flexibility. So let me dry it slightly off by going over on the paper towel, and let's dip into the tube, coat the brush. Let's put the excess back in the tube, and let's start. Let me put on my reference picture, and I will try and use and hold the brush not up close, not by the barrel, not close to the paper, but very far from the paper, to get the more shaky look of the lightning. This is what I want to do, so let's do this. And I need to put it, because the paint is thick, the gouache is thick, I need to dip it many times, maybe. In case it doesn't flow well, just add a dip of water, just a dip of brush in the water, and use the moisture on the brush to make the paint less thick and therefore easier to manipulate. Oh, you see, it's much nicer. Let me put this a little bit behind the, let me show it slightly through the wings to make the illusion that the wings are semi-transparent. Of course, I can add some very loose, branches of the main beam of the lightning. This is how lightnings pretty much work. And in case I need some places to be thicker, I will go over them again with the same brush, but this time I will hold it closer to the paper to fill in only the spaces I need and control the thickness better. So yeah, this is what I will do. I hope to do this during 8 minutes. So right now back. So holding the brush here by the end, well, just I see I watered down the pigment a little bit too much. Let me dab. So holding the brush by the end makes you lose control of the brush. but in this case it is wanted because I want to show the chaotic, natural shakiness of the lightning. So this is something that is desired for me. In this moment, in this instance, I have some extent of control, but not as much as if I was holding the brush by the barrel. So let me now dip it again, and now holding it closer, I want to go over places where I need to make the beam thicker, which is here in the lighter parts, to guide the eye of the viewer properly. I mean, not properly, the way I want it. This is how I should talk. And while I am at it, I will put on white gouache to slightly hide my mistakes when it comes to being a little bit too dabbing happy with the background. And with holding the brush by the barrel here, I have more control on the thickness of the line, and I use it to fix the places where, for example, the lightning just got disconnected by the paint maybe being too thick, by the paint running out, for example here. I want to slightly draw a line to connect it. Here a slightly thicker line to connect the main beam. Maybe I will put something here to accent the markings on her body. I used gel pen on on markings on her body because I didn't have white gouache back then. It was the best thing I could use, and white gel pens unfortunately don't work well for me. It depends on it really depends on the paper and the texture that the painting or drawing have. Usually, in my experience, they work the worst on colored pencils and oily medias. Yes. And in these cases, I see the white gouache working the best, and it's for making highlights, it is my go-to medium, and my recommendation. Really, just get yourself a bottle of white gouache and you can put it pretty much anywhere, because in my experience acrylics do tend to yellow over time, and I haven't seen gouache yellowing in the same at the same rate. It of course also depends on the brand. I believe this one is more the one I have, the Renaissance brand, hashtag non-sponsored, is a Polish brand I see, is more of a higher quality, and maybe I am theorizing right now, maybe this is why, because it doesn't fade, because some pigments fade during after some time. This is why you should varnish your artwork to not make it fade or smudge when you use the dry media. Oh my god, I'm almost over time. Let me speed up a bit. Less talky, more painting. So you see, this also right now, the lightning in the background frames the character and aids as a contextual and natural frame. I'm also thinking about another different thing that I can use right now. I am thinking of just splatting some dots all over, but at the same time I don't know if it wouldn't be too much. You know, I can't reverse it unless I would spend an hour after that removing the dots in post-production after scanning. What I'm thinking, maybe I will make some little, very little markings on her face. Just smaller compared to the ones on the arms. And I see a mistake here. I will patch it up. There, a little bit there, a little bit there. Okay, and I think I will call this done. Let me clean my brush. Dry it. Because this brush is made this way, there is some dried paint just by the base of the bristles, but there is nothing I can't scratch off with very little force. Good. Okay, just put my brushes away, put the plastic tubes for guarding them. One bristle of this brush decided to go a different direction. Can I reshape it, or do I have to use soap? Okay, I can slightly reshape it. Let me put this in a tube. Don't fall. Okay, and that's all I have prepared today. Let me show it even better. Yeah, so the background is done and some minor touch-ups on the character with white gouache is also done, and I think after I scan it and fiddle with some contrast, because I see on stream the contrast, I would have to go into my camera settings to make, you see right now all the texture, the whole texture on the clouds that I was working on for the past 1.5 hours just popped off. So this is what I will do in post-production to show the piece at its best. But yeah, this is pretty much what I have for you today. So the quota for this stream is done, and I hope you had fun and you learned something by hearing me ramble and talk about various art stuff. And yeah, next stream on Tuesday and Thursday. I think I will dedicate these next streams for Valentine's Day stuff. So I will pick the artwork that is related to that in its topic is related to like Valentine's Day and like love in general, because I don't want to make it about. I have a series of pictures that may be suitable and are about love, so I'll be doing those probably. Yeah, this is the good. I have the project for a set of pictures called Love Comes in All Shapes and Sizes, about the different kinds of love you have, and I think this would be a good project to tackle and talk about. I think using of colors, slightly anatomy, and also showing affection and characters' emotions and relationships to each other through their poses, expressions, and poses and expressions, pretty much. So I think this would be a good topic for tomorrow's next week's streams. So yeah, watercolor. Yeah, they would still require me to do some watercoloring. Inking, maybe not. Mainly watercolors. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching, chatting, lurking, and spending some time with me. And I hope you had fun. I hope you maybe learned something. And I hope you will stay safe and healthy. And I hope I will see you next stream.